Welcome to My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Hi.
I think the big news this week is
we got nothing else to talk about.
Or just jumping right in, right?
Yeah. I mean, I opened my phone today and
Love is dead.
well, I mean, we have talked about line cook summer, so me and Kim's just like done with that accessory.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she's like, she got the rebrand in, which is maybe what that was.
Right.
She's like, I got to do a hard left turn from Kanye.
Hard reset, unplug it, plug it back in.
Yep. Now she's plugging it back in. We'll see where she pivots to next.
Right.
But yeah, there's some Kardashian relationship news this week for sure, because she broke up with Pete, and then Khloe and Tristan.
I don't know if I'm ready to talk about that yet.
I think having another baby.
I'm not ready to talk about that yet. We got to unpack the Kim and Pete first, because that is
that's a whole nother level. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. The Kim and Pete thing, like, I actually, I was cynical about it at first, but then it seemed to be like everything that I've heard was, she seemed happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to date if you're going through a divorce, Well,
and not all relationships are meant to last, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like sometimes there's a relationship that's just like, this is just fun for a season, and it doesn't have to be anything like big or traumatic or anything. Like, it's just like, this is something we're doing. We're both happy. We're both consenting adults who are doing something fun for a little while. And, that's it.
Yeah. You don't have to marry that guy.
Yeah.
Well, no.
And to be honest, I have no clue. This is all speculation, but I'm like, Pete, is he ready to be like a stepdad to like 3 kids? And, it's a lot. He's young still.
Yeah. It does feel very much rebound Pete, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's good for them.
Yeah.
As long as everybody's happy and healthy and safe,
Like
then
you
that's
said,
all that matters.
Consenting adults.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the funny thing was, and I told you guys about it, that TikTok, that it's like, Pete's relationships have definitely like propelled him as a pop culture icon. So this person was postulating that where can he go from Kim Kardashian to be going up?
Right.
And she's like, there's only 3 really that she can think of. They're all married, so he would have to break up the marriage, but it would be Meryl Streep, Beyonce, or Paul Rudd.
Well, Martha Stewart's single. She could get with Pete, and then she won't have to steal any of her friends' husbands like she was talking about.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Wasn't that hilarious? She got on a podcast. Was it with Chelsea Handler? I think. I can't remember, but Martha Stewart got on a podcast and was basically like, I'm just waiting for my friends to die so that I can marry one of their husbands.
Wow.
Yes. Oh my God.
Wow.
You guys, that if this isn't our FMK,
it's incredible.
Our new up for Pete.
Oh, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well, and the other thing too, that's another breakup that actually I was like, was Chelsea Handler and Joe Coy.
Oh, that bummed me out so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. They broke up. I'm so bummed about it.
Sucks.
I thought they were so cute.
So cute.
Yeah.
That's bummer.
It is.
Well,
they seemed happy too.
Pete,
you
there
got
you
options.
go.
Pete, you've got
Chelsea
options,
Handler.
okay?
That's a good up.
And she's on the rebound. All right.
Yes,
Like
that's a good up.
She could use.
She skis
some lovin'.
topless.
Listen.
It's awesome. That's
Listen,
baller.
She's hot.
Yeah.
She's funny.
Yeah, bitch and bod.
Yeah.
Fiercely independent.
Love it.
Yeah. I love that.
love
Let's
that.
manifest that.
I love that for Pete.
you. I love this for you, Pete.
Well, now we can move on to the Khloe and Tristan saga.
Okay.
Listen, I know. Listen. I know it's difficult to tell what's really going on from the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like the fact that he cheats on her every other day,
He gets other people pregnant. Like,
all the time.
Man, sir.
And I'm like, I make it make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't find it.
At the end of the day, it's not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If you want to do this, girl, go for it, I guess. But like, to me, I'm just like, I feel like this can't feel good unless they have some kind of arrangement, which I don't think they do, because Khloe has gotten angry at the other women in this situation. But then she keeps Tristan around, and this baby was planned because they used a surrogate.
I just can't.
So it's just like,
I can't.
what? And I know
come to terms with that.
She said in the past that it's because she wants all of her kids' siblings to have the same parents.
Why? Who gives a shit?
And also,
her parents don't. I mean, her brothers and sisters don't.
And it's like your kid already has, sorry to break it to you, but your kid already has half siblings because her dad
right
fucking around on you.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Like,
can we just say it? Because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
it's awful.
I don't like it.
Listen,
I put myself in the shoes. Like, if this was happening to one of you guys, I would be like,
you must leave. This is awful.
Yeah, surely. I mean, her siblings, like her sisters and Chris, like they have to be telling her.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like I would be if my sister was doing
if this
shit,
was my sister,
I would fight that motherfucker for real.
Amen. We would be having words at the least.
Like just your amount of planning.
We've talked about the theory.
Yeah.
There's an internet theory, it's just hot goss.
Yeah, it's not us. We didn't come up with this.
Not us. That it's not a surrogate. It's to explain why there's another pregnant woman.
Oh, so they're saying, this is a planned surrogate instead of like he cheated on
again.
me yet again.
Yeah.
And now is having another baby.
Which there is no proof that that's the case. But I mean, if your relationship is in such a state that people are willing to believe that that's a possibility,
I think that's an issue.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Like it's a problem. I don't know. It makes me sad because I feel like, and again, this is just speculation. I don't know anything. There might be a lot of other circumstances I'm not taking into account, but like it feels like a self-esteem issue.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Yeah, go ahead and be mad at women who know your situation and still step on your man like that. That's
at
fine.
The end of the day, it's not their responsibility.
You got to be mad at your man too.
That's exactly fucking right.
Your man didn't trip and fall into vagina.
No, he
That's
didn't.
not how this works.
No.
Well, and there is something very gross to me because I remember, was it still Tristan when that whole thing with Jordan, the friend, Kylie's friend, went down where like he kissed her and she
was
tried
upset.
to burn Jordan to the fucking ground and stayed with and I'm just like, what? Like Jordan was so much younger. Not to say that excuses her from anything, but to say that like she is fully culpable for this situation and like no culpability goes on the person who has made the commitment to you.
Yeah.
Like the person you're in the relationship with is the person who's made the commitment to you.
Yeah. Do you think maybe that's some leftover like patriarchy shit where it used to be like commonplace where we just had to accept the fact that men would run around on their wives? Do you think that that's part of it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Where we don't blame the men as much as we blame the women. I'm trying to figure out where that comes from. You know, because my first person I'm upset with
I don't give a fuck
man.
I don't give a fuck about her. I don't know. I don't want to know her. I don't want to know who she is. I don't care because to me that is she is so secondary to what's happening and is not that is not the I mean if it was a friend maybe that might be
so I think that was part of it is like Jordan was a family friend, but like this other woman that he got pregnant like during their relationship, I think around the same time that she was pregnant. Like you can't just write that person off either because now your kids are siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have siblings in common. So if you're choosing to keep Tristan around now, you have to know that like that woman isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. She's in your life. Yeah.
So it's just messy.
Messy.
And sad. Like genuinely feels sad.
Genuinely sad. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I don't know why people and I'm saying this as somebody that has been in this kind of mess drama and stuff before, but I'm trying to wrap my head around like that old brain of how you accept like the messy, how I think of it almost like a hoarder situation. You know what I mean? Where you just get like overwhelmed. You don't know where to start to clean your house up. And then you just become numb to it. And so then you're like, I am pooping in bags in the closet or whatever.
I feel like it's different if it's private, but like for me, I would feel humiliated publicly over and over. You've got people talking like us. You got people talking about your relationship over and over. Like that's a big part of what would make you can't hide under anything at that point. And it would be like, I would want to wash my hands of that man for that reason alone, just because it's just like I have been humiliated over and over again publicly. You got everybody looking at me thinking I'm stupid, you know, like that. And it's not, because everyone thinks Tristan's an asshole, but then everyone's also talking shit on Khloe because she's staying.
Yeah.
So it's like, it sucks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oof. Well, what else is going on this week to transition out of that? Yeah. I mean, man, cheating really does though. Like that to me is just such a complex issue. Everybody's got a different definition, you know, of what is and isn't acceptable. I would think that everybody would agree though that getting another person impregnated.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is like, it's not that I don't think that couples can work on stuff and recover from situations, even really bad ones, but it's just that he's done it so many times.
Yeah.
That it's just like, at what point are you like, this is not behavior that's going to change, or that he even wants to change?
No, it isn't. And that's exactly right. He doesn't want it to change. And he has the perfect have your cake and eat it too scenario, because he just isn't, there is no consequence for him.
Well,
None.
then shoot, devil's advocate.
Okay.
What if she doesn't really care and this is all just fodder to keep their names talking?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I don't mean to be cynical.
I mean, it's possible, but I don't know, because like he's issued apologies to her like on social media and things like that, and then
guess what? That's not how I want my apology.
on an Instagram story, literally like the last you remember like the last time it was like an Instagram story, which is like, oh, it even disappears after 24 hours. Like it's not even on your main feed.
He's like I don't want to make this shit permanent. You know,
like it's not even on your main feed. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's possible. Nothing's out of the realm of possibility in terms of like, could this be a PR thing? Like,
sure.
It's possible, but then to go so hard at the women is like,
yeah, that's that. Wow. Well, that's how that's going.
Yeah.
Oh man,
things are weird right now.
Things
in general.
are. This is you postulated that that's the second time I've used that word on this podcast. It's very strange. I don't use
front
that
of
word.
mind for you today.
Very,
Sometimes that happens.
You get a real $10 word in there.
I know, really. That we might have flipped over to a different timeline. I'm gonna say no. No, we're still in
no.
this.
It's the same shitty timeline. And
one.
truly, what I do think though is that there was something going on with the planets last week, because it felt fucking weird. I was like so irritable, like so irritated, like all last week. And then there was like so much shit I felt like was just like flying at my head all week that, you know, I
felt extra long too, just in general, just
slogging through it, you know, just horrible.
Yeah. Well, we made it to the weekend. I don't know. Who should we fuck, marry, kill?
I think we got to pick Pete's next lady.
I like this idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
Or gentleman.
Yes. I love Paul Rudd. Is it Paul Rudd and Pete Davidson? Come on.
Listen.
It would be hilarious.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't see it long term.
I'm going Martha for sure.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well,
you know?
I'm picking Chelsea Handler.
Okay. Paul Rudd, Chelsea Handler, Martha Stewart.
What a
amazing
combo.
I'm into it.
Oh, I think I know what I'm gonna do.
I know what I'm gonna do too.
Yeah.
But
now this is for Pete. This is not for us.
Oh, it's for Pete. It's not for us.
We are picking for Pete.
What?
That's the point of this, right? This is the FMK.
It's the fuck, marry, kill. We would fuck, marry, kill of these people, right?
I think we do both.
Okay, let's do both.
First,
Pete
let's start off with Pete. We got to make sure he's
All
going to be okay.
He's taken care of. All right. You've got to make sure he's okay.
For Pete, I think he marries Chelsea Handler.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I want for him. I think he should fuck Martha Stewart.
I love it. You know what? I bet she's a freak.
I bet.
I
bet she puts him in the hospital.
But for me, I think Chelsea Handler's a freak in the sheets, and I'm gonna fuck Chelsea Handler for sure.
Yeah. I actually think that Paul Rudd's super like calming energy, I think would actually be good for Pete. So I'm gonna have Paul Rudd marry Pete because I feel like that's a long-term, just like nurturing partnership. I think that Chelsea Handler and Martha Stewart would just be too independent for Pete, and I think he needs somebody just who's successful and awesome and independent, but also still has a nurturing vibe to it.
I feel like Chelsea Handler and Pete Davidson's sense of humor is too similar.
Oh, okay.
To that they're also they might be like competing for attention. So I'm gonna have Paul Rudd also marry Pete. I feel like he is a stabilizing force.
Okay.
In that kind of chaotic energy, but I'm gonna have him fuck
Martha.
I'm gonna have him fuck Chelsea Handler. Oh, you're gonna do Martha?
Yep.
I'm gonna have him
Martha Stewart, man.
fuck Chelsea Handler because I do think for one night that like chaotic explosive energy would be good for him.
Yeah, that would be. He's been linked to the older ladies before because wasn't he dating Kate Beckinsale for a minute?
Yep.
I think so.
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
His dating history is all over the place. Like Ariana, Kate Beckinsale, Kim Kardashian. It's a wild map.
Yeah, he doesn't have a type, does he?
Doesn't seem like it.
No.
Successful.
Yeah,
There we go.
There's
Successful and hot.
Yeah.
That's the
there we
type.
go.
Yeah.
I think for myself though, this one is actually kind of difficult. I think I would marry Paul Rudd. I think, oh man. Yeah. I need someone a little nice. And
He
like
is
Chelsea
nice.
Handler is fucking awesome and I would fuck her, but I think that sometimes she would hurt my feelings.
I want her to be my friend. I want her to be my friend, but she does seem like that friend who will accidentally say something flippantly, like not meaning to, and then like I laugh, but then it lives in my head for the next like 2 to 3 weeks.
I think I'd be a better person for having her in my life.
Oh yeah.
In that like I feel like she would give some truths.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, I definitely want her in my life, but I think I'm going to marry Paul Rudd cuz that kind of energy is like good in small doses. You know what I mean? Like that whole I don't need the truth all the time. Sometimes lie to me, please.
Yeah. Please.
But here's the thing. What do you think her sign is?
Sagittarius.
Chelsea, Leo.
I thought she was made Scorpio. Pisces.
No way.
Yes
Interesting.
Wow. All right. Well, then I definitely can't marry that bitch. No, no, we can't. I won't. I refuse. We're not doing that again.
I'm surprised. That
I am surprised too. Yeah, I am surprised too. She has a fiery energy. But you know what? You get Pisces in the right situation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've seen you mad. I've never seen you like mad though. But that would scare the shit out of me. I think.
Yeah, because it takes a lot to get me to that level. So like, if I got to that level, we're on like She-Hulk level of like anger.
By the way, every time I see those posters like driving by, I cannot help but laugh. It looks
seems.
I'm just like I feel so bad because I'm just like that is some cheesy.
Did we need this? Did we need it?
No.
I really feel like we didn't need it. Okay, for myself, this is kind of hard. I think, you know what? I think I'm gonna marry Martha Stewart.
Wow.
I feel like Paul Rudd is really the right answer. Like, I feel like he's like nice.
He's an Aries.
Yeah, he's
just a reminder.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He's an Aries and Chelsea Handler is a Pisces.
That makes sense.
Happening?
Yeah, exactly.
And Martha Stewart's a Leo.
Oh,
interesting.
If this helps, or if it hinders,
it kind of does.
It. Okay. All right. I think it makes it harder for me. But I'm going to marry Martha.
Okay.
I feel like she is funny. I feel like she's gotten to a point in her life where she simply does not give a fuck.
Oh, I love that.
She will
Me
go
too.
on people's podcasts and straight up be like, TikTok bitch, waiting for my friends to die so I can swoop their husbands. Hilarious energy. Like that energy is chaotic, and
I actually cannot wait until I get that old.
Me too.
You're just like I don't even care, and I kind of love that. I love that she's in that like I do not care phase.
Yep.
Also,
her standards.
She's like I've caught a case. I have been.
I done time. Okay. I feel like you're gonna get to hang out with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, you are.
Also, I love throwing a party.
Yes.
She is going to throw the best parties. Like, we are going to plan like such fun Christmas parties.
Yes.
I'll make very strong cocktails. It'll be great. Can't wait. The strongest cocktails. Yeah. And, our house will be beautiful, immaculate.
Yeah.
I love this for me, for my future life with Martha.
Yeah,
I am
second guessing my stuff too now.
As far as I would fuck Paul Rudd or Chelsea Handler. I think that they would be very different experiences, but very fun. I think I'm going to go, just because I'm curious, I'm going to fuck Chelsea Handler.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just want to know.
Yeah.
I just want to know what's it like. I bet it's fun. I bet they have a swing.
Good.
I bet she's got a swing.
Yeah.
And I'm into it. Yeah.
I am going to marry Chelsea Handler. I know you didn't expect it. Here's why. She's a Pisces, and I love Pisces, and I've already told people that I would never fucking date a Pisces again, but I just feel like
Pisces women are different.
I'd want to see her rising sign.
Pisces women are so different. She is, as much as she gets a bunch of shit, I think she can come off a little spicy.
Mm-hmm.
She's, I don't know. I think she's got good energy. I think she is caring, and I think that she's
got a lot of empathy, and it comes across in her politics. I think she can get really fired up about social issues,
and I like that.
Which I also like. So
I also went to live in Los Angeles. I feel like this is the right decision.
It's true.
And I can't choose Paul Rudd for that decision because he is an Aries, and that is just, there's no, and I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
We would be really good friends, but I absolutely cannot. An Aries, the world would catch fire.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. One weekend in Vegas with Paul Rudd, I feel like something is happening. Something's going down.
Oh yeah,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, you two are too goofy. Like,
oh my God,
be so silly together.
Oh, it would be a full fuck up mess.
Someone's gotta
hold it down.
There's got to be an adult here, and it's going to be neither of us, and that's the problem. There's no adults in this situation. Martha was initially who I thought I was going to marry, and the reason I chose not to is because I just don't feel like I could live up to her standards. Like I feel like I can't be the polo wearing, buttoned up.
But you know what? I don't think she really wants that. I don't think she really wants it. That's why she hangs out with Snoop all the time.
I don't want to live in that cottage style. I don't want to live in the. I don't know.
I get
Ann
it.
Taylor's loft.
I understand.
It feels stuffy to me, and I'm a West Coaster, so I'm.
Yeah,
you're not trying to be in like Nantucket or whatever.
I do love LA. It's been my home for a really long time, but like there is a piece of me that thinks I would thrive East Coast. I do have it's a different,
it's a totally different vibe.
Yeah, it is.
Washington D.C. I could get down. We know how much I love D.C. I could live there.
Yeah,
but I feel like that type of East Coast isn't really my.
I don't know. I feel
like
Martha Stewart's house is probably on. When I picture it in my head, I'm like, it is on like a nice piece of property with like beautiful trees, and there's probably like a river runs through it or some shit. You know what I mean? Like I am like,
I need a city.
Where the fuck's Nantucket?
I don't even know. I just threw that out there because it sounds
it's
right,
the vibe,
doesn't it?
Yeah, if I said Martha Stewart lives in Nantucket,
you'd be like, yeah. And I picture a sweater over the shoulder.
I actually do believe she lives on in the Hamptons, right? Or she has. Well,
I don't.
Has a Hampton,
I would live in the Hamptons. I mean. Well, maybe I would. I might get annoyed with the people who live in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
Now we're acting like this is really going to happen.
Yeah.
We're getting very granular with our data.
Yeah. So what you're saying is we've gone too far.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
And anyways, this was supposed to be about hooking our boy Pete up. So
we did enough.
We've done enough. I feel like we gave him some options, some things to chew on.
Yeah.
Right.
To think about.
Marinate on the idea.
The world's your oyster, you know? It was
Someone please tag Martha Stewart in this. I really want her to reach out to Pete. Just be like, look, I'm here for you. Because she's trying to get booed up. Like she really is. And like I'm
wink.
I feel like this is a good thing.
Get her on SNL hosting.
It is August and cuffing season's right around the corner.
Yeah.
So
Gotta
get
all
your
warm and
summer
cozy.
flings in fast because you're running out of time.
True.
So.
Truly. Yeah. Well, we have a couple of new patrons that I want to give shout outs to. So a big shout out to Katrina Vidari. Welcome. What
if you had just given her a medium-sized shout out?
Yeah, just a moderate shout out. No, a big huge shout out. And also Christy Gorzen. Welcome to our Patreon family. If you have suggestions on, FMKs or Tainted Loves or any of the movie episodes that we do there on Patreon, please feel free to reach out. We love you so much.
Yay. And you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good.
Cool.
And we're back. All right, Christina.
All right. She says, I matched with a guy on a dating app. We chatted briefly in messages and he seemed okay. One day he told me he was coming to visit for a weekend as he lived far from me. The day he planned to arrive was the day after I was moving. So I knew I would have carton boxes everywhere. Yeah. I had to work all day and the next day do a thorough cleaning on the apartment I moved out of. I told him it's impossible.
Yeah.
He insisted, saying he'd already requested and been granted a day off of work.
Well, I guess you should have
asked me first.
Checked with me sooner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Arranged to change weekend guard of his kids with his ex and bought his train ticket. So he thought to do all of that shit before even checking.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
it was convenient.
And it's like, if we're going to hang, then I guess we can hang in your hotel room because you're not staying with me.
Right.
Like, what?
I eventually gave in, but irritated. He said I'd have to pick him up at a train station about 2 hours away from me at 9 p.m. Again, I objected. I had to work until 7:30, so it would be a rush to arrive there in time.
Lift. Get a lift, my guy. Get a cab.
But he had the tickets already. I growled, make sure you eat on the train and we can just start the drive back quickly. I get off my 8-hour shift that day, exhausted, rush out to drive to the train station. I'm so tired I can't see straight. I'm in the car and I realize I don't know where the sheets are for the guest bed. I don't think I can physically drive back safely tonight. So I call a hotel and book a room. When he arrives, I tell him this and make it clear I don't know you. I am not going to have sex with you. I just cannot drive anymore. He asks where we're going to eat now. It's
you. Oh,
this motherfucker right here.
It's 9:30 p.m. I want to kill him already.
Taco Bell. That's what you're eating for dinner. We're going through that drive-through.
But I couldn't eat either, rushing here after work. So I take him to a nearby restaurant I know of and I pay for the meal.
No.
We go to the hotel.
We're so mad.
I'm furious. That you paid for you.
Fucking
okay. No.
I'm gonna drop you off at the hotel and you can find something at the hotel to eat.
Do you
Fuck
know
you.
how fucking exhausted?
And you paid for a fucking hotel room.
No,
The last time I moved, I was like fucked up for like a week
No,
after I was so tired.
fucks you
And
up.
so
There's
this
no way.
motherfucker is doing all this shenanigans while she's like working and moving.
No,
I'm like,
absolutely.
The way I would have left that man at the train station.
Thank
Like,
you.
figure it out. I don't know what to tell you.
yeah,
Like,
you like to ask other people to do things before asking if it's convenient for me. So go ask other people. There we go. So I keep telling him, do not get any ideas. Despite that, he gets totally naked. I'm in shorts and a shirt.
Wait.
And he keeps trying to wrap himself around me all night.
hold on.
What?
Why are you
No.
naked? No, that's so that's embarrassing
Get
for you.
away from me.
Like, that is so
Fucking-
embarrassing.
You're the naked
Troll.
one.
for you.
and-
Yeah. Like, what? Just stripped off and was like, okay,
Oh,
nighty night.
night,
Like,
night.
like, Christina, you're even a naked sleeper and
Yeah.
you wouldn't do this shit. I've shared a hotel room with you.
No.
You don't sleep naked
No.
with us around.
No.
And we've
You-
seen your titties.
Yes. No. I
No.
sleep in clothes when I'm sharing hotel rooms because I'm not a fucking
And we-
monster
and
like
also we
this
appreciate
person.
that. I just want to be clear.
Last time we went out together and got an Airbnb, you slept in the living room. Like, what if we had just like woken up
And I'm just
gone
like,
out there,
making coffee,
spread eagle.
nude. Just nude, making coffee in the morning. Morning, ladies.
Hey guys.
Say what? I would turn right the fuck around.
I know.
and walk right.
It's too early for this.
No.
I can't
I'll come
deal
back
with
after
it.
you shower.
Titties all akimbo.
No.
Just like So the next morning we drive back to my place. He hangs out while I do the cleaning of my old apartment. He tells me he's some sort of undercover cop who does
Stop
secret
it.
investigations into
Listen,
terrorist
motherfucker.
groups.
God damn it.
you don't.
Motherfucker,
No,
get
you
a fucking
don't.
mop in your hand and undercover some work in this motherfucking apartment.
fucking
You piece of
asshole.
shit.
We go back.
Just lounging around while she's cleaning. Like, she's sweating.
Fucking guy. We go back to my new apartment. And I have to go to work for a while. I have to leave this stranger in my apartment.
I'm sorry. No.
This undercover cop, he could be planting bugs.
Yeah, 100%.
When I get back, I'm going to cry. I find he has all the windows open and is playing his bagpipes in there. So he's packing an overnight bag and he's like, okay, I got my toothbrush and an extra pair of underwear and my bagpipes. And he's lugging it on the train.
The bagpipe is not like a small. It's
No!
not like, that takes up a lot of space in a bag, like on a train.
Listen, like, so
What is
when I do my walks around the neighborhood, there's this cute girl who will be on the corner of like Laurel Canyon and Santa Monica just playing bagpipes. And I'm like, that is considerate because she's doing it because it's loud as fuck. And she's doing it not in her apartment,
right?
I'm sure.
With the windows all open.
Also, like, it's so funny to me. It's like, got to get my bagpipe practice in. Like,
I mean, where
I can't skip a day.
I can't skip a day. So this is how I am introduced to all my surrounding new neighbors with an idiot playing bagpipes.
That's
for
right.
them
all the windows open, dude. He's like, I want the neighborhood to hear this shit for sure.
He's like,
when I match with guys now on apps, one of my first questions is, do you play any sort of unusual musical instrument?
need to know, is there an accordion involved? Like,
Oh my God. What's going on?
He packed.
Oh my God.
a didgeridoo or
That is like, I was like, wait. So all that stuff is like so fucking frustrating and stupid and inconsiderate at first, but then like the bagpipes
came out of
tipped it
nowhere.
over.
Came
Oh my
out
God.
of nowhere. Just the fourth, like, and also he was playing when she came home. I can't help but think that he thought that was gonna impress her. You know, like,
absolutely. Oh my God.
No. Oh God, that I needed that. Jeez.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, I got ours from our website, and I won't tell you the person's name, but they say, hey guys, just got introduced to your podcast this past weekend, and I'm hooked.
Oh.
I have loads of worst date content, so I will be submitting a few, I'm sure.
Please
Awesome.
do.
Well, this is the first one. Welcome, and we're glad to have you. I met this guy on Tinder, and we decided to go out to this dive bar for beers. I was hungry and decided to get a pizza as well. Once we paid separately, we sat down and started talking. Conversation was all right, although he did mention the fact that he was in med school. Just about every other sentence.
Oh no.
Oh, great.
Hey,
I had a
didn't-
coworker that I waited tables that was like that too, and it was like,
He was in med school?
yeah, he was in med school.
Oh.
If you knew, med school was really hard and med school was really expensive. And med school last night was like,
Oh, man. You just wouldn't believe it.
I mean, and I get it too, because I'm like, I understand that this is dominating your life right now, and you probably
It's
have
true.
nothing else to talk about. But like,
it is kind of true. As somebody
probably
who
true.
is back in college myself, I do
You're
talk
like-
a lot about it because it literally is the only other thing that I do besides work. So I can sort of relate to that, and I do feel like probably med school is a lot of your
but
time. But still,
it would
every
not
other
be
sentence.
fun. It would not be fun on a date. And
No.
also, there's something about med school that's like, you're saying this to try to impress me.
little
That, like,
bit.
you're going to be a
100.
doctor. Like, okay.
100%. He even joked about how his lazy friends grazed by college with majoring in business, even though I had mentioned a couple times that is what I'm studying.
Oh, wow.
oh wow,
Oh, no.
a
Yeah,
little bit of
he's-
nagging.
Yeah. Don't worry. I called him out on this. At one point, he asked me why I wasn't eating my pizza. And with a weird sense of humor and a medium large body, I said, because I'm skinny legend, obviously joking. And I was just taking a break. He took this as a chance to sit up and lean across the table,
No.
looking over at my legs to say, oh, you're skinny?
Wow.
Sir, fuck you.
No, we don't do that. We
No.
don't comment on people's
Bodies
bodies.
at all. Like, and why?
Yeah, for what reason? Like, there's no reason to do that other
Absolutely
than
no
to
reason.
make her feel some kind of way. Like, why would you say anything? Like,
you didn't. Yeah, nothing needed to be said. Just when things couldn't go worse, I excused myself to the bathroom, and when I came back, he said the following: "I'm surprised you left your drink at the table." When I asked him what he meant by this, he explained he knew a lot of people just enjoyed drugging girls at bars on first dates, and he didn't think it was responsible for me to leave my drink with him.
Well,
now I'm weird about it.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, that's when you go to the bar and you're like, hey, I'm worried.
Get a fresh one?
Yeah, can I get a fresh one?
I gave him the last of my drink and told him to finish it in front of me.
Oh, there you go.
He jokingly added that he would never drug a girl, but I said I didn't care. He downed the drink and then I ended the date. He texted me months later saying he was sorry he didn't reach out after our date, as he had said he was busy with med school.
Okay. Good thing I didn't want you to reach out.
But he would love to see me again. I explained to him that I would, in fact, not like to be seen again, and that his comments made me extremely uncomfortable. He laughed it off, and I left that bitch on red.
What the fuck? Like, what is it? I mean, it truly is an example of the different lived experience
100.
like male presenting and female presenting people have. Like,
yeah.
Because for you to think that's funny, it really shows me that like you've never actually been scared on a date before. Like you've never been in a situation where you've been with somebody.
And not only that, but you can't imagine.
Yeah, you can't even empathize.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's sorry you went through that. Okay, I have a high school story.
Yes.
When I was a senior in high school, I asked a friend out to try and convert the friendship into a relationship. We both had a 2-hour break in the middle of the day, and she suggested we take a trip off campus, presumably to make out someplace. Ooh. We found her mom's beat up Nissan, and she asked me to drive so she could navigate. I was happy to have help since I have those new possibility butterflies fluttering like maniacs somewhere between my throat and gonads.
Nice.
I have a crappy sense of direction, so I was simply following her instructions. This is how I am too. They're like, take a right, take a left, take
right,
a right.
Left at the red house or whatever. I'm like, okay.
So I was simply following her instructions and not keeping track of where we were or where we appeared to be going. It wasn't until we hit the gate that I realized she directed me to a cemetery. We parked next to an empty looking lot and she leaned over and kissed me. Well, okay, a graveyard is a pretty weird spot to pick, but if it works, this 17-year-old's hormones were not going to voice an objection.
Oh my God. I couldn't. Listen, I'm not superstitious or whatever, but like, could you guys make out at a graveyard?
No, I don't think so.
Make out 17-year-old me? Probably.
17-year-old me. I guess that's a different person.
Yeah, probably. Me now, I'm just like, there's so many better places. Like, why are we
here?
Yeah, but also it's just like, I don't know. Like, it wouldn't be, I don't really believe in ghosts or anything like that, but I'm just like.
Me. Yeah, but you are like on top of bones.
Yeah, it's just weird to me.
I mean, I actually like cemeteries. Like, I find them like relaxing. Weirdly,
peaceful?
Yeah, they're peaceful. Yeah. But yeah, I would not take my date there. Even at 17, I wouldn't be like, this is the place.
Well, what's the weirdest place you guys have made out at?
Oh God. You know, I don't think I've made out in a lot of like really weird places.
The only one I can think of is like a Sears parking lot.
I mean, I've made out in my
very fucking
it's specific. Yeah, and also Sears, which is like one of those places that's like basically a dead brand. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
I've definitely made out in a lot of parking lots.
Sure.
For sure.
I'd have to think about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about it too. I mean, probably like in someone's parents' room.
Ooh.
Oh,
never had sex in someone's parents' room or bed or whatever. But like, you know, like
as far as I know, I haven't either. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as you know.
Well, I don't know, dude. Right. Sometimes, you know,
shit happens.
Shit happens and you're like, is it his bed or is it, you know, he's like, you know, house sitting or something.
You're like, this is a really nice Martha Stewart floral comforter. I don't know that this is actually his bed.
And if it is, I also have questions.
Awesome.
Questions all around.
He's like, I really just like chrysanthemums. You're like, okay.
You know the name of the flower. Are you sure your wife didn't tell you that?
It quickly became clear that she wasn't interested in making out. Sex was the objective, and we were in a dead sprint toward it.
Literally.
Dead. My surprise was derailed as a large family gathered around a nearby grave, and we hastily hid in the car.
Oh my God, I just got chills.
Oh no.
Oh my God. They're like saying goodbye to grandma and someone's trying to get like finger banged in a Chevy.
Oh no.
A Nissan, to be more specific. I made a nervous attempt at conversation. I hope they leave soon. Don't worry, the big families never stay long.
Time out. How many times? Time out.
He says, you've been here before?
Oh no.
Yeah, I've been coming here for years. Silence. Is someone you know buried here? Yeah, my grandparents are up over there.
Oh no. No. Mimi and PopPop are watching us.
Nervous laughter.
That's the name of the episode. Mimi and PopPop are watching us.
Nervous laughter. You've been coming to see them here for years or been making out here for years? Oh, both, I guess.
Oh, no.
So I'm apparently not the first person she's brought to make out in front of the grandparents. Strange, but still not enough to deter a horny teenager.
That's actually there. I was just going to say this.
It's a 17-year-old
I don't think
boy.
nothing could break a 17-year-old boy's concentration. Right. This would come close, I think. But.
Stealthy makeouts resumed, and as she got more serious, I stopped her. So, did you want to? And she said, yeah, awesome. But I don't have a, do you? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's totally fine.
That's 17.
I'm on my period anyway.
Oh, no, mama. Mama, no.
At this point, I should probably recap. Sex on the first date as the central activity of the date, in a car, at a graveyard, where her grandparents are buried, in front of a grieving family.
Family.
Having probably happened dozens of times before, in the same spot, in the same way, without protection, with her apparently not understanding that pregnancy is only part of what needs protecting against.
Yes.
Right.
During her period, without any sort of warning or discussion beforehand, in her mom's car, without, towels or running water or soap or a change of clothes.
Oh my God.
Having to go back to high school afterward.
Wow.
And back to the story.
No, that's a recap was needed to really put it in perspective.
Yes, a lot's going on here. The period surprise finally dampened my ardor enough to allow me to think through the situation and all the things I just learned about this girl. I awkwardly stopped the makeouts and we drove back towards campus, not waiting for the family to leave.
Wow.
She clearly knew things had gone south and looked miserable. I had no idea how to handle the palpable awkwardness and focused on driving as an excuse not to say anything. A few blocks later, the car slowed and stopped. The engine was still running. The gas pedal had simply stopped doing anything.
Oh, no.
The girl burst into tears. Guilt hit me in the face as I assumed she was hurt over my rejection of routine, unprotected graveyard semi-public period sex on the first day.
By the way, I love that all that other stuff was not enough to pump the brakes.
No.
But
Yeah.
tell a 17-year-old boy about period.
Well, and also,
blood.
to be honest, that would really make me stop too, because I'd be like, we are in your mom's car. And if there's one thing that I was scared of at 17, it was parents.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not trying to get blood all over your mom's front seat. You know what I mean? Like, no. But no, turns out she was not supposed to borrow her mother's car and was headed for serious trouble if we couldn't get it running again. Awesome. To shorten the rest of this very long story, I used a combination of low experience and high bravado to burn my hand on a part of the engine, called some friends to help us push the car a friggin' mile back toward campus. And we haven't spoken more than 100 words to each other in the decade since. From what I hear, she got in trouble anyway.
Yeah. Wow.
So much.
That was a fucking journey.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah, my
It's a lot.
grandparents still right up
No.
Yeah.
No,
You're right around the
ma'am.
corner. You
I'm
can see
outta
their
here.
headstone from here.
No.
there. Yeah, it's the same as I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I don't think about, my dad or whatever are like watching, but I still be like,
there's a big
weird.
difference. I feel like, I mean, at 17, would I have made out in a cemetery? Yeah, probably. At 17, would I have made out in a cemetery where I had loved ones within eye shot?
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
See,
No.
I in my mind, okay, so I have to tell this because I think this is the caveat. We used to have this cemetery, this old cemetery in Johnstown where I grew up, that was like a tiny little cemetery. It was like all old gravestones. It was really cool. And there was a grave there called the witch's grave, right? So it was like legend that, you know, that, oh, she was killed as a witch, right?
Yeah.
So in that graveyard, would I have made out with a boy at 17? Yeah, for sure I would have.
Yeah.
For sure. But you're right. Would I have made out with somebody at the cemetery up the street, the
In
really
front of my
nice
grandparents?
modern ass cemetery?
Exactly.
No.
That too. Like there's a difference between, there is something about like an old, you know, cemetery with like the old headstones and shit like that, where it's like
Kinda
almost
gothic
yeah, it's like
and-
gothic romantic, right? But like a new like where it's all like flat. Everyone died like in the last 5 to 10 years. No, there's nothing even, it's not even pretty, you know?
The trees aren't even grown up yet. They're just kind of still baby trees-ish.
No,
You're
no.
like,
Everything's that same like shape and
Yeah.
granite and stuff.
Yeah.
No. And then there's people that show up and then
No.
they're grieving.
No,
I'm like,
no.
I would immediately take me out.
Oh my God. Because you know that they're
Imagine-
not seeing these people there. Like, that's so
imagine
weird.
you are at your grandmother's grave and then like you
You
turn
look
around and
over.
it's like a Titanic, like Jack and Rose hand on the window. Like,
No.
whoa. In the middle of the day?
I would have issues. Yeah, I would have a problem with that.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
911. You're like, we need to call fucking graveyard security. Come handle this shit.
Security. Oh God.
Wait,
Okay.
you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
That
Yeah.
sounds good.
All right.
And we're back.
Yes, and it's my turn for Tainted Love, and I'm going to take us to old Hollywood.
I love
Ooh.
it. I love it. Let's do it.
I'm excited.
From the silent to the talkies, I'm going to
Oh.
tell you the Tainted Love, a story of Thelma Todd, the ice cream blonde.
Oh.
And we're going
okay.
to try to solve a
This
mystery.
sounds so familiar to me. I think I know this story.
I don't know if I do.
Okay. Thelma Todd. Well, first of all, I got the idea to do this from seeing a BuzzFeed Unsolved YouTube and then like the normal Wikipedia and a bunch of other sources that will be up on our website for you to check out.
Unsolved stresses me out so much. Like I'm like, why don't we have a conclusion?
Right.
I hate it.
Well, this one's gonna be hard. We're gonna talk it through. We're gonna see what theories we like and try to come. But mostly, I want to talk about the amazing and incredible Thelma Todd. She was born July 29th, 1906 in Lawrence, Massachusetts. And after graduating from high school, Thelma enrolled in a college that was a school for training teachers, but her mother insisted that she do beauty pageants and acting competitions because she would be in high school, like working at a job. She actually got fired because so many young boys
shit.
would come in just to look at her.
Imagine.
I hate when that happens.
I know.
Just
Isn't that just like the
I'm
most
like,
annoying?
I am trying to work.
Yeah.
You know.
So she was extremely successful, winning the title of Miss Massachusetts in 1925. And of course, she caught the eye of Hollywood scouts, and Paramount found her and offered her a spot in the Paramount Players School in Queens. So she quickly established herself within the studio system as she went from studio to studio, eventually ending up at Hal Roach. But she would end up over the course of her brief career doing like 120 films. She's most known for being like kind of the straight woman in the Marx Brothers films.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah.
Monkey Business and Horse
All
Feathers.
right. Yeah.
She did shorts with Zazu Pitts. She did shorts
Wow.
with Laurel and Hardy. So yeah, even in the beginning when she had to do from silent to talkies, they were like, oh, she just excelled because she had this really nice
Great
New
voice,
England
yeah.
cultured voice, and she had a great presence, and she was kind of not your typical dumb blonde. She was like really like independent and had a really cool way of carrying herself on screen. So she did really well. This was something I found interesting is one of her contracts in 1929 stipulated her weight at 122 pounds, and if she gained 3 or lost 6, the contract could be terminated.
Okay. Oh my fucking God. Like that shit will give you a complex because you have to be so concerned about like your weight.
I can sneeze and lose a pound and then walk by a McDonald's, by it and gain
some French
6.
fries. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, weight doesn't fluctuate like that.
How often are they weighing you? Because I really feel like you weigh me like the week before my period and I'm retaining all that fucking water weight. Like that's 3 pounds right there for real. 3 pounds is nothing.
Yeah,
absolutely. So by the late 1920s, she had gained a reputation for fast cars, drinking, and men. She got married in 1932 to agent Pat DeSico, but had numerous affairs. And when the marriage invariably ended, she cited the reason as grievous mental and physical suffering.
Oh, no.
Agent Pat DeSico was actually really connected to Lucky Luciano and the early mob. Like back in LA was just kind of getting on its feet. Mm-hmm. And so we think that she actually may have met Lucky Luciano in a bid to get amphetamines, like diet pills.
Yeah.
Because that was pretty much the only way to like keep your weight down and keep it consistent.
And also, I mean, she's cranking out films. So she's going and going.
Working.
Yeah.
Constantly.
It's like a Judy Garland situation where they're like, keep her on.
Exactly. So she also stood up to the typical casting couch situations of the day, even though it could have like led to her being blacklisted. She was not down for that kind of thing. She didn't do anything like that to advance herself. And to get around the whole like drink and drive thing, she hired chauffeurs so that she could still enjoy her signature drink, 3 fingers of rye, whenever she wanted.
That's not a signature drink. That is just
liquor.
alcohol. Like that is alcohol in a cute glass.
Drink?
I thought you were gonna give me a nice little cocktail. I was like, oh, let's go and have those cocktails later. No, it's
I'm good.
Just,
I'm out.
3 fingers of rye.
Look, we can have that right now. I got some on the bar in the living room.
It's wonderful. So even with all the rumors and scandals, or perhaps because of it, she was so popular in the LA social circuit. And in 1934, she diversified that portfolio and opened a restaurant in the Pacific Palisades called Thelma Todd's Sidewalk Cafe.
Smart girl.
I wonder, is it still there?
That's what I was thinking.
The building is still there. You can still see pictures of it. It's being like rented out as office space now.
That's a bummer.
But yeah.
I want to go get a milkshake there.
Right?
I want to go sit at the bar and get a milkshake.
I'm going to sit at the bar and get 3 fingers of rye.
3 fingers of rye. Now, this cafe had multiple floors for dining, drinking, and dancing. And Thelma, who was already getting old for Hollywood, being in her late 20s.
Yeah, well,
she's smart. She was counting on it as her retirement plan when the picture deal stopped coming. She opened the restaurant with her current lover, director Roland West, who had given her a prominent dramatic role in the movie Corsair. Now, they had adjoining apartments at the cafe, and nobody seemed to mind that he was still married to silent film star Joel Carmen, who also didn't seem to mind.
I mean, look, if everybody's chill, then I guess it's fine. Yeah.
So, yeah, you can see, like, you know how the Pacific Palisades are. There's a really big hill. Yeah. So the Sidewalk Cafe was kind of built in, it was sidewalk level, and it was kind of built into this hill that also had a whole bunch of stairs going all the way up to Roland West had a house up there too.
Oh, convenient.
Yeah. So he had a house, but then there also had the adjoining apartments right on top of the cafe.
The cafe, yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be important to note later. Mm-hmm. So it's also important to get some context to what LA was like at this time. Prohibition had just ended, so this newly rising mob presence in LA turned from booze to focus mostly on illegal gambling. Thelma Todd's cachet and her wealthy clientele from the cafe seemed like a perfect fit. And there are a lot of rumors that Thelma was running around at one time with Lucky Luciano. Mm-hmm. So
I have heard this somewhere before.
I know.
It's
I'm like, did I tell
on the
story?
tip of my, I don't think so. I don't think we've ever done it, but I feel like I have like seen it maybe in a compilation video on YouTube or something about I think maybe I've seen just like the barest minimum info on this.
So 29-year-old Thelma roars into 1935 in good spirits, a successful movie career and restaurant, queen of the LA circuit. Everything's looking amazing. On December 14th, she went to a party thrown in her honor at the Trocadero. She was her usual bubbly self, even when her ex-husband showed up to the party thrown in her honor
The balls.
with a brand new baby starlet on his arm.
The big
Why are
balls
people
on
such
Brett.
assholes? Like, seriously. It takes so much energy to be that big of a dick.
Now, Roland, the guy that she's currently kind of dating, but owns a restaurant with, has the adjoining apartments with, was known to be like super possessive and controlling. So she goes to this party thrown in her honor, and he's like, you need to be back home by 2 a.m. or I'm going to lock you out.
Okay.
I'm like, how do you think that's going to go over for somebody that's like, you know, independent? So she's like, okay. So she did have Sid Grauman call Roland from the Trocadero at like 1:50 saying, okay, she's like leaving this party really soon. So like, it's not going to be 2 a.m. because obviously Trocadero
right?
to the Pacific Palisades is a bit of a drive, but still.
She's checking in.
She's checking in. But however, she did not leave shortly after.
No.
She stayed till like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah. She's on her way home.
Traffic,
You go ahead and go to bed.
Yeah.
You it's fine.
We'll be right there.
Yeah.
We'll be right there. So her chauffeur dropped her off in front of the cafe sometime between like 3:30 and 4:20, like somewhere in that window. Now, the chauffeur said that it was a little bit unusual because she's usually very talkative and stuff, and he's been her chauffeur for years. So, you know, he was like, she was unusually quiet, and she also had me drop her off in front of the cafe instead of like escorting her all the way up or whatever. And he's like, that was kind of weird.
That's a big window to say like sometime between 3:30 and 4:20 is like an hour.
Exactly.
Window.
Yeah.
Right. So the next day, there are some friends of Thelma's that show up at the Sidewalk Cafe, and they're like, BT dubs, we were at the Trocadero last night. Thelma said we can get all this comped. And Roland's like, oh, I haven't seen Thelma today, but if you say so, that's fine. So they enjoy like comped meals at the Sidewalk Cafe. And they're like, have you seen her? And he's like, nope, haven't seen her at all or whatever.
IDK.
And so they're like, all right, cool. And they leave. So then it's not until Sunday, December 16th, that Mae Whitehead, who was like their longtime maid and everything like that, is getting ready to do her normal routine. Very first thing she does is she goes to the garage to get Thelma's car.
Yes.
And opens the garage and sees Thelma Todd slumped over the seat. And now here's where things get murky, because some newspapers report that she also had a broken nose and 2 cracked ribs. But the coroner's report only mentions like blood around her mouth. There's just so much misinformation out there about whether or not her shoes were dirty or what the condition of the body was. There's really
Which
not.
is so sketch.
Yeah.
Like for them
Right.
not to be more like detailed about that is sketchy to me.
Yeah, and this was also at the time, this was very close to the Fatty Arbuckle
Right.
scandal,
Yes.
which had rocked Hollywood.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot, and we can talk about it at the end. So the police wrap up the scene super quickly, ruling
sketch.
it a suicide by carbon monoxide poisoning, like right off the bat.
Which, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the coroner's report matches that theory because they did find a high level of carbon monoxide in her blood, and places her time of death around 5 a.m. on Sunday morning.
To be a detective in the
my
30s
God.
had to be just like, you're like, well, done deal. Going back to smoke my cigar and drink my scotch. You know, like,
Yeah,
it's just like, yeah, it's just like, I feel like it was just so loosey-goosey about like, well,
Looks like a suicide to me.
all right, wrap it up, everybody.
Yeah, despite the fact that she had Christmas presents in her trunk for her family and had plans and everything was going well for her.
I mean, it could have been accidental. I'm sure that's happened before, where people like they get home, they pass out, right, and they forget their cars on in the garage.
That is one of the theories. So yeah, no one believed that Thelma was suicidal, but the whole like accidental thing is really weird because there is a map of she would have had to been partying all night. Her blood alcohol level was 0.13 when they tested it, apparently. So she gets dropped off. She would have had to
Why'd she
climb.
get in her car and turn it on?
That's exactly right.
So it was kind of a windy, chilly night. But in order to do that, she would have had to climb 271 stairs.
In her party dress.
In her
and,
party dress
heels.
and kitten heels.
Yeah,
To then climb into her car, which had like an open top, versus the one next to it, Roland's, which was closed. So it's like weird. Now listen, I have been drunk at the end of the night, and I've made it.
Truly.
I have made it from like Santa Monica all the way back up to where I was sitting on Sunset.
I have walked definitely end of the night. That end of the night, you've been drinking strength of like.
Yes. And sometimes your decision making skills are not
stellar.
And, and we also know that like she's a whiskey girl, so she's warm on the inside. Okay,
Yes.
She's been like
fine.
chugging rye all night.
She's told her friends all night, I'm fine.
I'm fine. I can do it. Don't help me.
And also, I was just telling Cassie that, sometimes you've had a hard day or a long day or whatever. I've definitely gotten home and sat in my car, like, and not come upstairs. Like, I've gotten home and like sat in my car, like on my phone for like a good 15 minutes before like being like, okay, I'm going to go upstairs now. Like,
I was concerned for myself. I was doing that like a lot for a while where I was like, am I avoiding something?
Yeah, why don't I want to go
what am I
inside?
doing?
But like sometimes you just need that quiet moment, and maybe she was avoiding something. Like she knew that her boyfriend would be mad that she got home late.
Was her door locked? Did he lock her out?
It was locked. It was locked.
Maybe she went in there and thought, oh, I'll keep warm.
I'll stay warm in my car. But she got in the car without the rooftop up, but she was drunk. So,
Right. But the other problem is that the contents of her purse, along with like a cigarette case and lipstick, was the key to her apartment.
Oh, so she could have let herself in. Drunk brain.
Drunk brain?
Yeah, but I mean, I've been drunk, but I've always like, if you have your keys or not. You know what I mean?
Right. I've always made it inside my apartment.
And so your apartment that's here versus a garage, 271 steps.
Maybe she made it all the way up there, found out he had locked the doors, and then was like, I'm too tired to go back down. I'm just going to go into the garage.
Well, no. Her apartment, their adjoining apartments, he had locked that. That's where he was staying. His house was up there with his garage and stuff. But he's staying at the adjoining apartment.
Right. And she has the key
cafe.
to the adjoining apartment.
Correct.
Yeah.
That she was dropped off in front of.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's weird, right?
It is weird. Yes.
It's weird.
So further muddying the waters is the fact that the coroner's report does show that she had partially digested peas and carrots in her stomach, which was not served at the Trocadero that night.
So did she go into the restaurant? Midnight snackies?
Something.
Midnight snack of peas and carrots.
Is a real bummer.
She had some
she's got
pot pie.
She got that real tight weight limit thing going.
No kidding. She's like, I can have six peas and like 2 carrot sticks.
Exactly.
And like, that's my midnight snack.
But yeah, so that's weird. And then also a good friend of hers, Mrs. Ford, was having a party like that Sunday night. And she swears up and down that she heard from Thelma Sunday basically asking, hey, I'm still wearing my clothes from the night before. Can I, is that cool for me to show up at your party? And then she's like, yeah.
What?
So she would have already been supposedly dead if the police timeline is to be believed, making this phone call. But also, like, at that time, maybe she's just saying that for clout. You know what I mean? Inserting herself into the investigation.
Oh, yeah, no, it couldn't be. I just talked
There's
to her.
no kind of phone records or real evidence or any kind of investigation whatsoever
and it is
done.
a big case, and I feel like even today there are like looky-loos who try to like insert themselves into cases, and this is like a Hollywood case. So
she's like, Pasadena number 35, please.
Not trying to call Mrs. Ford a liar, but
I'm just saying. So yeah, it's just there's so much that's contradictory. Like there are a lot of people, especially with the whole like supposed broken nose thing, being like, well, she could have hit it on the steering wheel when she passed out, or she could have been placed in her car.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not like it's impossible, but like implausible, I think, for you to pass out that hard that you hit the steering wheel that hard that you break your nose.
Right. Yeah, and there are tons of people that says that Thelma was really into cars. She loved fast cars.
Right.
So she and the car industry at that point had just started putting out a bunch of ads about carbon monoxide poisoning being dangerous. So people are like, she wouldn't have started her car in a closed garage. Like,
she would know better.
She would know better. So there's just a lot of questions. So if she was murdered, perhaps let's go through some of the suspects.
Please.
So number one on a lot of people's list is Roland West.
Roland.
Yeah, he seems like the obvious choice.
Yeah.
He's close by. He has reason to be pissed off because he's fucking
Known
controlling.
to be jealous, abusive. And if she had come home late and drunk, there would have been a fight. They had done this before. There's an article I read by an author, and I did attach the link. So it is in the show notes if you want to look on the website. That actually claims that he interviewed Hal Roach, who was very forthright about the fact that Roland West killed her, and they covered it up. It was exactly that she'd come home drunk and was basically like, fuck you, I do what I want. And he was like, followed her to the garage and locked her in it.
Can we have a conversation about why men like this? Like, why do controlling men... I feel like there are so many stories like this where controlling men are very drawn to independent women. It's just like, why are you... Is it the is it the challenge?
Battle, the
is
challenge.
it the... Like, because I'm just like, there are women who would be more amenable to you kind of like being... You're still an asshole, but like would be more like, okay, I'll be home at 2. But you're attracted to a woman who you know is not... That's not her personality. It's not, she's not like that.
So you like the drama. You like the fighting. Yeah. So, yeah, he basically was saying it was covered up for a number of reasons. LA's corrupt DA at the time having mob ties, Hollywood not wanting another high-profile scandal. And after the murder, Roland never worked on a film again.
So he was like low-key, like quietly blacklisted maybe?
Yeah, and his health deteriorated fast. On his deathbed, he said she got home, they got into a fight, and he locked the garage door. But his confession's just full of inconsistencies. And the author that I was talking about, his theory is riddled with the same hearsay and rumors that just follow this case. So it's never been taken really seriously. But it's kind of the one that I think makes the most sense out of the case.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she had bad relationships with other people, like her ex who showed up to that party. You know, there are other possibilities, but this guy's... He's right
there.
downstairs.
Yeah. He's there. It's 4 a.m. But the second one that people look at is Pat DeSico, the shady agent with mob ties and ex-husband.
Yeah.
The main reason he's considered is because of their brutal marriage, the fact that he felt humiliated by the divorce and by the stuff that she was saying happened within their marriage.
And I'm sure there's tension because he's come to her party.
Correct.
Somebody. So like they might have had a fight.
They had a heated exchange at the Trocadero, and Thelma's will left him $1 specifically to ensure that he could not contest the will.
I love the petty level 100. I love it.
She was like, what can I make sure that he doesn't get like any of this money?
It's actually not even petty. It's just smart because you know that guy's a fucking piece of shit.
Right.
Now I don't put a lot of stock into it just because like there's no evidence that he was like drove all the way from the Trocadero to
exactly.
With another girl with him.
Exactly. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Now the third one that of course like has propelled this case into like pop culture. The third suspect is Lucky Luciano, who she supposedly had a brief but again violent fling with.
Of course, it's Lucky Luciano.
And he was pushing very hard for her to let the mob come into her cafe and control gambling. Thelma was adamant that it would happen over her dead body, to which people said he replied, that literally can be arranged.
I'm sure he did reply that. That
sounds right.
Yeah.
I saw Boardwalk Empire.
Right.
That was a documentary. So
She was also receiving notes all of 1935 telling her to pay $10,000 or die. Now, the theory is Luciano put a hit on her and someone followed her home from the party, picked her up, and fed her their peas and carrots.
for what? Like, is that some kind of like mob song? It's like that the horse head in the bed. Yeah.
You eat these peas and carrots.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then killed her and put her in West's garage to frame him. Luciano also left LA shortly after Thelma's murder. But the problem with this theory is there's actually no concrete proof that Luciano and Thelma Todd even met at all.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
it's just
people-
become part of the zeitgeist.
It's like part of the lore.
Sure.
Like people really do like to just create their own, like
It's like the
more,
murder house.
Yeah, more interesting, more salacious kind of like story.
Right.
When it's Occam's razor, right? Like usually the simplest explanation is the right one.
Yeah. And, at the end of the day, like the two that I vacillate between are the accidental
Yeah.
death
Yeah.
and maybe that Roland West
Roland.
had
Yeah.
something to do with it.
I lean towards Roland West just because of all the things we already talked. It's not impossible that like it was an accident, that like she did all of that and climbed the stairs and
Right.
did everything because
we've all been
Yeah.
there.
and especially if she was blackout drunk, because that's
Yeah.
possible, that would explain her change in mood in the car if she's completely blacked out.
Right.
Like she wouldn't even remember like climbing the stairs, turning on her car, like those kinds of things.
And then she could have just passed out and then, had the carbon monoxide poisoning. But the one thing to know from this case is that there's like a badass woman that was taken way too soon.
Yeah.
That she had a brilliant film career still ahead of her.
Sounds like a smart businesswoman.
Smart businesswoman that was a really independent, shining force, like in early Hollywood.
Yeah.
She has been immortalized on the Walk of Fame, and her final resting place is back in Massachusetts. And her sidewalk cafe is still standing and has like this really cool architecture.
That's cool.
So you should look up pictures of it. It's like this really kind of the popular architecture at the time in like the early 30s. And it's although it's empty, it is being rented for office space.
That's so sad that it's like that cool building is being used for like office space.
I know.
Somebody's getting an audition
Well,
there. You know what I mean?
Before the last thing I found, the last like concrete like owner thing that I found online, because I was looking up for like anything, was like a Christian movie studio had it for a minute. So yeah, but
I wish we were filming. We're like,
But yeah, that is the Tainted Love story of Ice Cream Blonde Thelma Todd.
Wow.
Okay. I know I said that like Unsolved Mysteries bum me out, and they do, but that one was that was a fun journey.
Yeah.
Fun feels like the wrong word, but it was a journey of like
There's
putting all these pieces together, the evidence, and trying to piece
it's
it
just
together.
frustrating because it could actually be solved if it was investigated
properly.
Yeah, and if all the evidence was documented properly, even
Right.
all these years on, if it had been done the right way, then there's a possibility.
But there were so many like ins and outs and shady characters.
Yeah.
And, but like,
well,
But again, lore.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you knew
Lore.
that notoriously the Los Angeles Police Department was so corrupt. Not that. But anyway, but
You're saying it changed?
in the 30s, though, notoriously, like the 20s and 30s were
Yeah, full of corruption.
full of corruption.
Yeah, that Fatty Arbuckle story I almost did too.
Yeah.
That's actually
I
was-
have notes.
It's on my
it,
list too.
too.
That's so
Yeah,
funny. It's
just
on
like-
all. I have an Excel spreadsheet of possibilities for
Right.
future Tainted Loves, and it's on there too.
I did notes on it. It's
Sad.
Yeah, it's really sad because it ruined. Yeah, but
So
that
much about it is sad.
old
Yeah.
Hollywood,
Yeah.
that time period too, is just fascinating to me. To the birth of a new industry, the birth of a city.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of like everything that you love and dream about for LA was really just being born in that time, and the ins and outs and all the different characters participating in it is just
it
fascinating to me.
It is.
imagine losing a job because you're too pretty.
I cannot imagine. It's never been in the cards for me.
She was too pretty to be working at the drugstore.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Bringing people in, you would think this is a good thing,
but not if they're not buying ice cream or what the fuck ever. Hanging
staring
out
at her face.
Yeah. Can we announce something?
I think we should.
All right.
Okay. I'm really excited, obviously, to announce that we will be doing a live show.
Yeah, we are.
At the end of October 28th at Dynasty Typewriter here in Los Angeles. It's an incredible venue. So many comedians have played that space. Like pretty much every big comedian that has come through Los Angeles has played Dynasty Typewriter at one point or another. So I'm super stoked that we're going to be on that stage.
Yeah, it feels very epic, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It feels like a milestone moment, and I'm really very, very excited about it. So we will be releasing more information about that and where to get tickets soon. But if you are in LA or somewhere nearby and you want to come, we would love to have you. Yeah, we're feeling really excited and like hashtag blessed. I was gonna say blessed, and then I was like, that sounds so like, but truly, grateful.
We've got a lot of really cool stuff coming this year. So if you have the chance, go follow us, be a part of the Facebook group. We're also on TikTok now, and you can always, go to our one-stop shop of a website, just like I say, myworstatepodcast.com. There will be information there forthwith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very soon. We'll have that all updated.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you guys watching this week?
I am still watching Stranger Things. I'm almost done. I'm on the last episode of the most recent season. And look, I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it so much. There's been a lot of Stranger Things TikTok content on my end. But I don't know why they did this, where the last episode is 2.5 hours long.
Oh,
2.5 hours. Yeah. So we watched the first 30 minutes. We're breaking it up, seriously. Because we watched the first 30 minutes, then we had to go to bed, and we're like, okay, next time we'll watch an hour. Yeah. Because it's just
2.5 hours.
Why? Like, just make another episode. I don't understand. But I'm loving it. I'm very much enjoying it and excited that apparently there's another season coming. So yeah.
They'll be like a full of grown adults then, though, right?
I mean, they are, and I keep Googling the ages of the actual actors because I'm like, that person does not look like they're in high school. And truly, everyone who's supposed to be a senior is like 30, all of them. And then all of the kids are like 18 and they're supposed to be like 14,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. I just watched a show that I think both of you guys would like. It's on Acorn and it's called Hidden. I just watched the first season and it is so good.
What's it about?
I don't want to tell too much.
I feel like I've seen that on Hulu too.
Oh, Hidden? Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a Welsh show. So some of it's in subtitles because of they speak in Welshlandia is what Chris and I keep calling it.
Yeah. I find that language so fascinating. Like, it is one of the strangest things to see it like written out.
I know, it looks like Elvish.
You're like, how?
It's amazing.
Yeah. So it's a detective series. So these two detectives are trying to find out what happened to this woman who they find the body, right? Mm-hmm. And then they start to kind of put the pieces together of some other missing women who have a similar look. Mm-hmm. And these timelines, and I
love it. That's my
so
shit.
Good, dude.
I'm into it.
It is so good.
Love it.
Well, I am putting my phone on silent this week because it is the Sandman.
Yeah,
and
Sandman time.
I did get to preview the first episode early, and then I watched another one really, really late last night. But it was very moving to me. I think that they made a lot of changes to adapt it for TV and also to change a lot of the DC characters that they had in. They had to change because,
it's DC property.
It's DC property and stuff. But I think the changes are good. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's wonderful. I think it's going to introduce a lot of new fans into the Sandman world. And, for those purists that are out there, the comic books still exist. And so does the Audible, which is literally like word for word
Right.
translation.
I have the Audible and I've been listening to it.
And it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a different enough thing. I think it will introduce new people into the world that he created, and I enjoy it.
Well,
Nice.
and he has signed off on it. So
Right,
if
yeah.
you're whining about it, like the person
He
whose
handheld this project.
actual like brainchild it is happy with it. So everybody else can kick rocks.
Yeah, he fully handheld the entire project, which is so exciting. And that says a lot. I did not realize until you just said that about the DC characters. I didn't realize there was crossover in that.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of really clever things he did because he got the property. They were like, hey, which old DC character do you want to adapt? And he's like, oh, I got this idea for maybe the Sandman. But he had DC characters not as like main characters, but little tie-ins and clever
Coming in
little
and out of
like
the universe. Yeah. Cool.
So he had to like rearrange and do some stuff in order to, not do something with Martian Manhunter or John Constantine or anything like that. So
nice.
Yeah, but it's cool. I recommend it.
I'm so happy for you, Christina. Genuinely.
Yes.
I am too. I am very.
You've been waiting so long.
Yeah.
27 years. Well, if you guys have something we should watch or you've got stories, you want to hear more about this amazing live show that we're going to do, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.